Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everybody, and today I'll do the introduction. And my name is Tariq Mahmood. I've been a pharmacist for 35 years, so today I have the pleasure of starting off the program with some recitation from the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. The meaning of that is, and who is better in speech than one who invites to Allah and does righteousness and says, indeed, I am one of the Muslims. This is from Quran, Surah Fussilat, Surah number 41, verse 33. Now two more ayahs from Surah Nahl, Surah number 16, verse 125, the beat. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو الأعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين. This meaning is, invite everyone to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them in ways that are best and most gracious, for your Lord knows best who have strayed from his path and who receive guidance. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Today the lecture will be led by Ustada Sidra Naim, Sister Sidra Naim. She is a qualified teacher specializing in supporting and coordinating provision for students with special educational, social and emotional, mental health and well-being needs for the past 20 years. She started doing Dawah after 9/11 due to receiving Islamophobic questions from work, friends and neighbours in her area. She is an Islamic and cultural advisor for Essex Police and has delivered training in Islam to the Police Training College and Stansted Airport. She has assisted in recruiting police officers and offering Islamic and cultural overlap advice on individual cases. Her role with the police also enabled her to be a judge on the Young People of the Year Awards. She has delivered Islamic training to the NHS, mental health services and 2 county councils. Through the Essex Fire Service, she wrote part of the organisation's handbook to give guidance on understanding different cultures. She is the Islamic representative on SACRE, which stands for Standing Advisory Council for Religious Education since 2004, and contributed towards authorising the religious education curriculum for all schools and educational establishments in Essex. Through this role, she voluntarily visits approximately 120 schools and educational settings per year to deliver lessons, workshops and assemblies on faith and culture. She additionally hosts school visits at many places of worship. Sister Sidra also offers teacher training in schools on the delivery of good quality religious education in accordance with the national curriculum agreed syllabus in Essex schools. She is a public speaker for 2 interfaith forums, regularly delivering lectures on a wide range of interfaith topics, arranging interfaith quiz nights and cricket matches. There's one next week, inshallah. Please come on the 1st of September at 1 p.m. Coming back to cricket matches between mosques and other places of worship, promoting excellent interfaith relations through sport and food. She is a chaplain at Anglia Ruskin University and part of the chaplaincy at Chelmsford College, St Luke's Hospice and Blue Water, offering free pastoral and spiritual care, mentoring and advice to students and staff from all faith backgrounds. Sister Sidra runs a women's group for vulnerable individuals suffering from mental health and anxiety, arranging talks and activities to support them. All this work has successfully led to national and international reverts ranging from Buddhist, atheist, Orthodox Christian and pagan backgrounds, including police officers and BNP supporters. That's a surprise, mashallah. She regularly undertakes readings for the civic and justice services at Chelmsford Cathedral, including for the chairman of Essex County Council and High Sheriff of Essex. She is often requested to write and deliver public speeches at times of world atrocities and conflict to promote community cohesion, unity, peace and harmony. She speaks in Parliament and recently became the Queen's representative for Essex for outstanding community work. And today we'll see outstanding work in Dawah delivery. So we will learn well, the job's well done, and everything that's written here is true. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair everybody for coming. That, believe it or not, was a very tiny snapshot of what I do. If he had said more than that, I would have probably been painted down as showing off. But believe me, that really was that was actually a 7-page double-sided document that I reduced down to like 1.5 pages. So you'll know a little bit more of what I do as I go along. Like the brother said, after 9/11 is actually when my work started, so it's actually been 18 years now since I've been doing Dawah work. It hasn't been easy. There's been lots of ups and downs. I will talk about those in a minute. I was talking to some sisters earlier about some of the ups and downs with our community especially. It's not the non-Muslim community that caused the problems, it's our own community, actually. I will talk about all of that today. Okay, so the program for today is, there are 3 parts to today's Dawah training. The first part will be on our character and conduct. I personally don't believe that certain people can go out and do Dawah. I feel that there is a certain etiquette you have to have, the manners, the way you express yourself, it's everything, okay? Not everybody can do Dawah. I have had full experience of this, including sending imams to places and then afterwards hearing complaints or seeing it with my own eyes. The second part then, which is the largest part, will be dispelling all those Islamophobic myths that we come across through the media or personally through work or through neighbours or even amongst Muslims. I have come across Muslims who don't know their own religion and they come out with all these things and you think, well, where did you get that from? And then how do you actually convey that call? You might have the knowledge in there, but you haven't got a clue how to express yourself. So we will do a little bit of teacher training, a small snapshot of how you deliver Dawah as well. How do you convey that call? And then how do you answer the questions, ready to respond? So character and conduct, dispelling Islamophobic myths, share to repair, convey the call, ready to respond. In between we will have lots of try and chit chat, which I know the ladies like. There will be coffee and cake and there will be lunch and munch as well. Have you noticed all those alliterations in the poster? Who noticed that? This is all tactics to grab people's audience. And if you didn't notice that, then you haven't got the eye or the capacity to do things like that, which you need to learn. You've got to be quite on the ball and quite smart, really, to do Dawah. There will be certificates at the end, but only for people who attended all 3 parts, otherwise you do not get a certificate. Because in order to get the certificate for Dawah training, you have to complete all 3 parts, okay? I'm being assertive for a reason. You will find all of that out when I talk about the teacher training, because if you don't do that, your whole audience will be haywire if you're too soft with them. You've got to put your boundaries right at the very beginning, okay? At this stage, I'll also tell everybody to please put their mobiles on silent as well, and also not to look at them while you're doing this, because you can't do that while you're Dawah training, can you? Look at your mobile. Okay, now did you know that most of our community, in fact, most Muslims are doing their 5 times prayer and they're doing everything else. They are already doing all the 5 pillars. So what makes them special then in front of Allah? Nothing really. okay? What extra things are you doing to get higher than everybody else so that you can gain the higher stations up in Jannah, okay? So everybody can pray rote fashion 5 times a day. Everybody believes in Allah and Islam. Yes, we can give zakah every year. We can do our Ramadan once a year. It's not difficult. Hajj once in your lifetime, that's easy, okay? But what distinguishes you from everybody else is other things outside of the things that you have to do. Because you have to do certain things in Islam, people rote fashion just do them. But doing dawah makes you think about your religion in there and understand your religion, and takes you up higher. There's a phrase in Islam that Allah chooses who He wants dawah to do. Did you know that? You are Allah's soldiers. He chooses you as one of His soldiers, as His army to help Him, to spread His message. Okay? And that's why we said, and who is better in speech than one who invites to Allah and does righteous and says, indeed, I am of the Muslims. That's in Quran chapter 41, verse 33. But even before you even start doing your dawah, it is really, really important to understand that you have to learn manners before knowledge and iman before the Quran. Did you know that? Otherwise, again, you're just rote fashion, just doing your Islam, the 5 pillars again. So it's very, very important to do that first. So Imam Malik bin Anas said to a young man from the Quraysh, "O son of my brother, learn manners before learning knowledge." Learn manners before learning knowledge, and iman before the Quran. We were with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam while we were young boys, and we learned iman before we learned the Quran, and then we learned the Quran, and it increased us in iman. Okay? So, did you know that everybody has to do their 5 pillars in Islam? So what will make you above all the others is if you do extra work, extra monetary work for Allah. That is what will make your scales tip down on the day of judgment and make it heavy. Nothing will be heavier on the day of resurrection in the scale of the believer than good manners. And Allah hates one who utters foul or coarse language. That's in Tirmidhi, which is a very, very strong theme. So you've already heard about all the community work that I've been doing. And did you know, at a very young age, I learnt my purpose of life, to be honest with you. I learnt what my purpose of life was. I learnt why Allah had put me in a very non-Islamic area, in a village. Because I used to often wonder, why would Allah, from a big area like London, full of Muslims, suddenly, out of the blue, I was plonked in Brentwood? I used to often wonder that, until 9/11 happened, and right on the day when 9/11 happened, I realised my purpose for life. This is why Allah's put me in Brentwood. This is why Allah made me a teacher, because He wants me to use all those skills for His work. So you yourself have to recognise yourself that Allah wants you to do this, if you are going to do dawah. Because if that passion is not in there, it's no good. Okay? So you have to recognize that Allah wants you to do this. And you can do this in your workplaces, you can do it especially going into institutes, you can do it anywhere basically. Even while and there are other forms, not just preaching. You can go and feed the homeless. You can show people a good role model of being a Muslim by being a good role model. I have brought people to Islam by showing them how kind and caring I am, or from doing other things. Okay? It's not just about having the confidence to speak up, but just by acting the way you do can call people. So dawah is not just preaching, it's the way you behave, it's the way you are with non-Muslims, it's the way you integrate. Okay? And basically we need to understand all the cultural issues in our Asian communities, and we need to find a resolution through religion first. in order to get ourselves like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we can do dawah. Otherwise, don't even bother. Okay? So, did you know that we are all born in a state of fitra, sinless. We're pure, we're wonderful with the best of manners. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah created Adam, who was our father, in his image, because Adam was given some qualities which Allah has, although incomparable. He was given qualities of mercy, love, and free will. That's in Sahih Muslim. Okay? But why do we get our bad manners? Why do we get all our bad habits? What then affects us when we are born throughout our lives? Anybody? We are born in a state of fitra. What affects us? Yes?
Shaitan.
Shaitan, and that's it, nothing else. Shaitan affects us, that's where we get all our bad habits from. Okay? So what you are now going to do is, on your number 1 worksheet, you are going to write down all the issues that you feel either within your culture or in any person which are not good and does not make you a good role model to do dawah. So I'll give you 5 minutes to write that down. Right, it says it on here. Part 1. What cultural or personality issues can you think of in your communities that would present a problem when giving dawah? It's not just within our Muslim community, it can be within any community. There are lots of problems, believe me. Sometimes I'm like banging my head against a brick wall because of our community. They give me more grief than non-Muslims. There are lots of problems and issues. So write them all down, and then what I will do is I will go through my own ones and then we'll add yours on the end, so that we can make ourselves really good role models. The younger generation are actually very good at putting down our community because they see it all. And the reverts, I know Nick in particular, is always having fun wherever I go at the way our community is. It can either be personality traits or it can be behaviour as well. You've got lots right. Didn't I say the reverts are going to have lots right because they can see it all? It's really embarrassing actually. They see it more. I always get the most moans about our own community from the reverts.
We can learn from them.
Yes, definitely. Okay, let's start off now with our characteristics which are from Shaitan first. Okay? Which Shaitan acts upon us with, but if we haven't got the religion in us, it overtakes us. Okay? So the first one is actually arrogance. And believe it or not, the Muslim community, the Asians, arrogance is there if they are doctors, or if their husbands are doctors, or if their sons are doctors. You're saying no, but that's because you're religious. I'm a doctor's wife as well, and people tell me all the time, how comes you're different from all the other doctors' wives? So I'm going to talk about all of this in detail.
Quick clarification, are these the qualities from Shaitan, is that?
Yes,
right.
These are satanic qualities. And turn not your face away from men with pride, nor walk in insolence through the earth. Verily, Allah likes not any arrogant boaster. That is Surah Luqman, chapter 31, verse 18. And Luqman actually gave that advice to his son. Okay? It's very easy to get carried away by whatever we may possess of wealth, being a doctor. We always end up giving the credit to ourselves with our achievements and feel proud of them. But have we ever thought about it, that everything that we have is all from Allah? Allah is Ar-Razaq. He gives everything to us. The money, the knowledge is all from Allah, and if Allah's made us clever. Okay? Obviously we work hard, but even the work ethic that is in us is from Allah, did you know? Because not everybody has that. And to make us reach the status that we have, believe it or not, everything is all from Allah, and it's also a test to see what are we going to do with what He's given us. If Allah has given you knowledge, Allah is going to see how do you use that knowledge. Did you know that is one of the main reasons why I started doing Dawah? Because I did have a lot of general knowledge, and I thought, you know what, I want to share that. You get sadaqah jariyah from sharing knowledge. I know people who have got the knowledge and don't share it. And it can be even things like recipes. How many of our Muslim community sisters know a brilliant recipe, and you ask them and they go, oh, come round my house and I'll show you how to do it. Has anyone ever come across that? I have come across it big time. They don't want to tell you. Did you know sharing your knowledge is sadaqah jariyah? Because Allah has given you that knowledge in the first place. When I became the Queen's representative, a lot of people said, oh, you know what, you've got to the highest status possible now in your life here. Are you going to still feed the homeless? I said, yes, I am actually, because in Allah's eyes, I'm still the same. That status is on this dunya. It's not up there, is it? Okay? So yes, I'm still there. I'm still feeding the homeless. I'm still sweeping the carpets after madrasa when I can in the mosque, because there's no caretaker at the moment. Who cares? We need to be humble. We need to be humble. Did you know what the litmus test is for not being arrogant? What is the litmus test? The litmus test to show that you're not arrogant. Who can tell me? No.
Polite.
Pardon?
Good manners.
Polite.
No. Arrogant means you think you're better than other people. You're proud. You're better than other people. What is the litmus test to show that you're not arrogant?
To be able to get down to the level of the others.
To mix with everybody, mix with the homeless, mix with poor people, mix with special needs people, mix with black people, mix with white people, mix with all races, mix with all status, whether they're special needs, whether they're disabled, whether they have mental health, whether they're homeless. That's the litmus test to show you are not arrogant. You might be better than them, yes, but you go down to their level, okay? How many people do I help? No matter what they are, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, whether they're special needs, whether they're homeless, whatever. Everybody. So get that out of your brain, okay? If you want to do Dawah, you have to help everybody. And while you're doing Dawah, you will get so many people coming up to you for help, because they will see you in a position of trust and a position of honesty, and they will come up to you and they will tell you their problems. I get that everywhere I go. And if you are arrogant, you won't be able to help them.
The way somebody walks, can that indicate arrogance?
Of course, if you've got your head up in the air, snooty noses. Of course. Okay, it's in everything, in all our mannerisms. Oh, I don't want to pick that up, that's dirty. You do it. I know somebody who used to do that in Horn Church. Pick that up for me, I don't want to pick that up, that's dirty. You think yourself better than others, okay? So, arrogance is from shaitan, okay? It is from shaitan because we have got the full story of shaitan in the Quran. Surely we created you, then shaped you, then said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. So they all did, but not Iblis, who refused to prostrate with the others. He was arrogant. I'm better than him. I'm made out of fire. He's only made out of clay. Why would I bow down to him? That's arrogance. Okay?
Quick question, sister.
I knew you'd have lots there.
Clothing. If you wear nice clothing, can that portray arrogance?
Over the top, yes, because when we look at Hajj, if you think of Hajj, in the days of the Prophet, people were going there to show their status with great big long gowns flowing on the ground. Jewels to show, I'm the king of Egypt. Look at me, everybody. And Prophet Muhammad said, everybody dress white ihrams to show that we are all the same level. So yes, designer wear clothes, very expensive designer wear clothes. It's all a show, isn't it, to show you're high and mighty, you're rich. You don't need to do that. Be a Primark girl like me. Everybody knows my favourite shop is Primark. But it's the way you dress. Okay, yes, a lot of my clothes are from Primark, but when you see the way I'm dressed, you can't tell because I colour coordinate everything. I wear a blazer on top, and it doesn't look like it's from Primark. But all the sisters who know me well enough know that is my favourite shop. It's the most humble shop you can go in.
And our Prophet ﷺ said we should look smart, especially Fridays.
Yes.
So is there a contradiction between...
I'm going to come to that in a minute. Okay, I haven't got to that bit yet. So Allah asked, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? He replied, I am better than he is. You created me from fire and you created him from clay. Okay, that is in the Quran, chapter 7, verse 12. So we need to learn from these models. Okay? Also, Pharaoh was arrogant, wasn't he? Look at what evil character he was. He's going straight to hellfire. It tells you in the Quran. He was arrogant. I'm God. I'm God. Okay, so there is lots and lots of arrogance in the Quran. There's even the story of the two gardens in Surah Qaf, where there was that gardener, and he was all proud about his garden, and then Allah made it go downhill, didn't he, overnight. There's all of that story in Surah Qaf. There are so many stories in the Quran that tell us to be humble. Okay? So that is a very important quality. And Allah said, then get down from paradise. It's not for you to be arrogant here. So get out. You're truly one of the disgraced, he said. Give me respite till the day they're raised up. Allah said, the respite you requested is hereby granted. So, Shaitan was thrown down the levels to make him humble in a way. Allah threw him down. There you go, you've got to be humble now, you're not up there anymore. And don't forget that Allah actually raised his status to begin with. He was actually on earth first, and Allah took him up there to become one of the angels. So some people can become high and mighty once Allah raises them as well. That is so important. Through Dawah work is where I received my status. But I think of this story, I think I can't get big-headed because Allah might put me down again. So I stayed down to earth like he should have been in the first place, because Allah has put him back down to earth again where he started off. Okay? So instead of getting arrogant up there, he should have stayed humble, but he didn't. He was raised up because he was so good, and then he became really arrogant. And then Shaitan said, verily, I will sit in wait against them, human beings, on your straight path. Then I will come to them from before them and behind them, from their right and from their left. Which quality is he showing here now? Right to the day of judgment, he's going to sit there waiting. Stubbornness. Stubbornness. Stubbornness goes with arrogance and jealousy. They're all linked. He was jealous of Adam as well, wasn't he? He's made out of fire, he's made out of clay, and why is Allah telling me to bow down to him? He was jealous. These are all linked qualities. Jealousy, arrogance, stubbornness. He's stubborn, he's still waiting till the day of judgment. He's going to sit there waiting. He's not going to leave what he said. He's going to carry on corrupting up the people. Okay? This is not a good quality to have if you're going to do Dawah, because the institutes where you go actually tell you what they want in black and white. Sometimes they even want your PowerPoints to be checked first. Sometimes they want you to be DBS checked first. They will want you to go according to their routine, not yours. They will tell you, you've got 10 minutes to speak here, then we're going to have this speaker, and then we're going to have this speaker. So if you've got stubbornness in you, forget it or change. Okay?
I saw all of this in one person.
Yes.
All of this in one person as a result.
Yes.
The control of Zaban is gone way out, finished.
Yes.
Modesty lost, every shyness lost. He gave you this.
Now that is a brilliant what you just said.
Yeah.
I keep saying this clearly, these three are linked. If you've got one, you'll have the other two. Okay? And just like what you said, if it doesn't stop, it gets worse and worse and worse. Islam is the only way to stop it. Okay? So that is very true what you said, because I've also seen this in lots and lots of people. So he was crafty, he was cunning, he saw the weakness of human beings, and he recognizes their loves and desires, and he's very, very stubborn. He likes to get things his own way. Just because he didn't get his own way about bowing down, he didn't want to bow down, he goes, well, I'm going to do this now, because you didn't do this, okay? Okay, the other one is he was boastful, okay? He was boastful. I'm better than that piece of clay I made out of fire. So showing off is not good. Indeed, Allah does not like those who are self-deluding and boastful. And that is actually in the Quran in Surah Nisa, because that all again goes with arrogance. Remember, if you are being boastful, then you are actually, again, showing off, and it's shirk, because Allah's given you that quality. Okay? Are you laughing at the picture? He's showing off, isn't he? He's not really praying, he's showing off with the phone or videoing him. Okay? All these things I will be talking about later as well, about all of these pictures when we do the teacher training. Why are you boastful? You're a doctor. So what? Allah gave you the big brain to become a doctor, say thanks to Allah. You don't need to be boastful. All of that comes under arrogance and everything. And jealousy, like we already said, is all interlinked. Abu Hurairah reported that Allah's messenger said, beware of jealousy, for verily it destroys good deeds the way fire destroys wood. Okay? Now jealousy, did you know what you're doing? You're playing around with Allah's destiny. Because if you look at the Iman Mufassal, one of the Iman Mufassal is that all good and bad is from Allah. Okay? So whatever good other people have, it is all from Allah. And if you say that that person has got more than me, you're challenging Allah, aren't you? Does that make sense? So what we're looking at here is belief that all good and bad is from Allah. So if something more better is in the other person, Allah chose that person to give that more knowledge to, or more good speaking skills to, or, I don't know, a slim body, okay? And if you're jealous of that person, you're actually challenging Allah. You are actually going against your religion, and you are actually going against the Iman al-Mufassal, which is what your belief is to become Muslim in the first place. Does that make sense? So jealousy is something that happens almost immediately. As soon as you start doing Dawah, you will get people who will start getting jealous of you. And all you have to remember is that what you're doing is for Allah, not to please other people. Does anybody know the litmus test to know whether somebody is jealous or not? I have spoken about this many times with sisters. What's the litmus test that you're not jealous? I think Nasrin knows this one.
Where people don't share your happiness with you, so if you're successful, you do something well, they won't praise you and say well done, or
Right.
they'll
Do you know what the biggest litmus test is to know whether somebody's jealous or not? Is when you've got good news, they don't congratulate you. Okay? Bad news is a different one, because sometimes they deliberately phone you to get the gossip out of you. So some people say the litmus test is somebody who is there for you in good times and bad, but the biggest litmus test is your good times. Because when it's a bad time, say it's a divorce, they'll pretend they're your friend to get all the gossip out of you sometimes. Believe me, I've seen it happen. They'll ring you, oh, tell me then what happened, a bit of gossip, bit of backbiting. Yes? Something they can tell the rest of the neighbours. But if it's good news, you know they are not jealous. And believe me, when I got my OBE, the first time I went, I knew who my real friends were immediately. immediately. Because I saw some of those faces and I said, did you realise I went to Buckingham Palace? Oh yeah. And I thought, well, why didn't you congratulate me then? It's not going to take anything out of you to say well done, or even alhamdulillah, is it? Did you have something to say, sister?
Yeah, I just want to add actually one of the hadiths, one famous hadith says,
Yes.
لن يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحبه لنفسه. None of you would believe, would probably call the believer, unless he loves what she loves, or her
Yes,
sister what she loves for herself.
exactly.
I think that's
That's a brilliant one.
yeah.
Okay? So jealousy is from shaitan. We're not allowed to get jealous. You're actually going against Allah by saying, how come she's got more and I haven't? Yeah? Because Allah has decreed for that person to be better than you. Go up and challenge Allah there. Okay? So very, very important, that one. As soon as you get jealous of people, you start the tongue. Out comes the tongue. Okay? So backbiting is a very important one. Abdullah ibn Masud quotes the Prophet, peace be upon him, as saying, should there be 3 of you, then let not 2 of them be in conversation to the exclusion of the third, because this will hurt him. Bukhari Muslim. Not just backbiting, but also there are so many different things here. You know, when there's a lot of Bengalis, they seclude away from the Pakistanis. When there's a lot of Pakistanis, they stay away. The Arabs, they make their own circle. That is wrong. If you want to do dawah, you have to be open-minded and mix and talk with everybody. And basically, these 2 are talking about her, and she's on her own. Even if there's a special need person in the audience, you'll find all the sisters are all together, and the special need ones on the other end. So we need to include everybody, we need to be humble, and we're not allowed to backbite or have this scenario where you cause different sects and you're whispering and laughing about them behind their back. I have seen this so many times. I've seen this between Shias and Sunnis as well. I actually had, in the university that I work in, a poor Shia girl coming to me and crying her eyes out because she said she's being bullied in the prayer rooms. Because the majority was Sunni in the prayer rooms and they were laughing behind her back while she was in there because she was praying differently from them. It's not allowed at all. Me being a Sunni, you'd think I'd support the Sunnis. Who do you think I supported? The Shia, even though I'm not a Shia. Because she was in the right and the others were in the wrong. Wherever there's a majority of people, you always tend to bully the person that is different from you. And that is not allowed to happen. Laughing is not allowed. Okay, laughing happens a lot when you scoff at each other. This used to happen with all the prophets. Think of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. Everybody laughed at him. What's that he's building? What's that he's doing? They might laugh at you doing dawah. When I started dawah, some people said, oh, you're wasting your life. You're not even getting paid for all of this. Your children are young. You need to pay attention to your children. Mundaha was 5 years old when I started doing dawah. Yeah, he was 5 years old. And Khadija was 7. And people said to me, your children are young. Stop all your dawah. Bring up your children properly. They're not going to be educated. Load of rubbish, by the way. If you put your mind with Allah, Allah puts so much barakah in your life. One of them's doing medicine, the other one's doing a PhD in psychology. They're both doctors. Husband's a doctor as well, and I'm a doctor as well. But I never say it. Well, I will be soon. So, and I'm a lady as well. So, who cares? All of this is all blessings from Allah, isn't it? So we're not allowed to do that. Oh, you who believe, let not a group scoff at another group. It may be that the latter are better than the former, nor let women scoff at other women. Now, have you noticed it's mentioned women in particular? Because women are good at that kind of stuff. Women have big mouths, they have better communication skills, they do this kind of stuff more, and they hang around in gangs. To believe it or not, I see more of these bad qualities in women than I do with men, to be honest with you. All of these ones that I've seen so far, arrogance, jealousy, I don't really see that in the brothers, interestingly enough. Some, yes, obviously there is going to be some. I'm talking about my own experience, okay? Nor let women scoff at other women. It may be that the latter are better than the former, and don't insult one another, and don't call each other by offensive nicknames. Wretched is the name of disobedience after one's faith, and whoever does not repent, then it is those who are the wrongdoers. That's in Surah Hujurat, chapter 49, verse 11, the roots. If any of you want these slides, you can get them from me afterwards. The other one that makes me cringe is when you're in a non-Islamic setting, there's Punjabi going on in the corner, in front of all the non-Muslims. I saw this yesterday. When I went to drop Munda off at the cricket pitch, there were 3 Asian men speaking Punjabi in the corner. And all the non-Muslims were all sitting together, big, huge gang of them. Do you know, I felt like going up to them and saying, brothers, speak in English, I'm sure you can speak in English, and go and join the others. Mix with them. Why are you separately? Why are you even playing a cricket match with them then, if you're going to be separate? If they can't speak English, that's different. But I'm sure they could. Tell me who doesn't know English nowadays in this country. It's very few, isn't it? If you can't speak English, that's different. But if you can speak English, mingle with everybody else. This happens even with the youngsters. I mean, I can give a very good example. I've had words with them as well. The cricket match in Chelmsford. Punjabi on the pitch.
On the pitch.
Big Punjabi on the pitch. And the non-Muslims have asked me, are they slating us down? Because they don't know what they're saying. They're swearing at us. I actually got this. The chairman of the council said, you know those Muslims, they're speaking in your own language. Are they slating us down? How embarrassing is
I
that?
had it as well.
And I mentioned it to them the following year, last year, and they did it again. Punjabi on the pitch.
One of them said to me, I'm proud of my religion. You ain't going to stop me speaking my religion.
Yeah, but this is not religion.
Language.
Yes.
I meant language.
Yeah, these are manners. These are manners. If you are with non-Muslims and you're playing a cricket game with them, you're in a team. Why are you speaking your own language when you can speak English? There is hadiths about this. So it was narrated from Abdullah that the Messenger of Allah said, when you are 3, 2 should not converse privately to the exclusion of their companion because that makes him sad. There you go. What's that all about? It even tells you about conversing privately. And that includes, by the way, talking in your own language. I really don't like that. It's something we've got to get rid of, really. If you're living in England and you're in a situation where you're with non-Muslims, speak in English, for God's sake. Right, backbiting is all included in there as well. Oh, you who believe, avoid most negative assumptions. Now, negativity is also from shaitan. Sometimes in a lecture, again, it is always the sisters. Oh, you ran over time. Oh, you should have had a break here. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, do you know what? I would have done this better. Well, if you want to come at the front and steal the show and do it, come forward and be welcome, is all I can think of in my mind. But I'm just polite. I never get that from the brothers. And believe me, I do know enough brothers who will tell me to my face if I say do anything wrong. Negative, negative, negative. Moan, groan. Don't do that. Because if you're doing dawah, you need to be positive energy. Even if something is wrong, you never say it in front of anybody. You keep quiet, especially when you are portraying your religion in a good way. You never talk about anything negative. I know a Muslim man, again in Chelmsford, who goes around talking about the mosque to non-Muslims. Now, is that a good thing to do when you're trying to portray your religion in a good way? Yes, we know there's kerfuffles in the mosque. We know this, that, and the other goes on in mosques. Nick's laughing again. But you don't go around telling non-Muslims. Do they tell you what happens in their churches?
Oh, yeah.
They do sometimes. Well, you're a police officer, so you're...
No, I was a Christian for long enough to know that they act exactly the same.
Forget them. They're Christians, their religion is very nicely portrayed. Our religion is down in the dumps as it is. Do we need to portray it any worse? Okay? So, the only time, did you know, when you are allowed to say something negative or also backbite, if you like, is when an imam, you know what I'm talking about. When an imam, a leader of a community, is doing something really bad and people need to know. Which we did do, didn't we, in Brentwood? We had to do it, okay? Or when a marriage is about to take place and the person involved is either married before or there's something the family don't know. I've seen that in the community where a letter comes from Pakistan. I've seen it twice now. A letter comes from Pakistan saying, don't marry this man, he's already married. Or, don't marry this man, he's already got a baby with so-and-so. Then you're allowed to do that because you are stopping something major bad happening. Okay? Apart from that, we must not try and backbite. No negative assumptions because suspicion, we know, is a big sin. We will be talking about suspicion later when I talk about adultery or relationships where you need 4 witnesses to actually see the act before you point your finger at them. We will talk about that when we do the misconceptions. Do not spite or backbite each other. Would any of you love to eat the flesh of his dead brother? So that is what it's likened to. You would hate it, and it implies to Allah, indeed Allah is relenting, merciful. Again in Surah Al-Hujurat. So very, very interesting. And the Prophet said, when I was taken up to heaven, I passed by people who had nails of copper and were scratching their faces and their chests. I said, who are these people? Jibreel, he replied, they are those who were given to backbiting and who aspersed people's honor. Does anybody know what the litmus test is if you know you're backbiting or not, according to Islam? Yes.
The person would be upset if he heard it himself or herself.
Sort of. If you can go and say it to that person what you're saying, then it's fine. If you can go to that person and say it. So believe it or not, if I have something to say about somebody, I've already told them first anyway about it. But we have to be careful. Yes?
It can still be considered backbiting if you say it to their face.
It can, but if you've told them and they've agreed it, that's different. That's what I'm trying to say. If they've acknowledged, yes, I do
Yeah,
this.
but if you're saying something to them to correct their behaviour, that's one thing.
Well, this is actually in the Hadiths. What I'm saying is actually in the Hadiths. I'm quoting everything from the Hadiths. Okay? Did you know that when you backbite, you give them all your good deeds? So he backbited and she's taken all the good deeds. Okay? Imagine seeing your good deeds on the day of judgment, but in someone else's hands. And again, this can happen a lot in sister circles and things. They backbite about the person they're jealous about. This is all linked. They backbite about the sister that they are jealous about, and then they're giving away all their good deeds, even more to that sister, and she's got lots of good deeds already. So they get multiplied. And they haven't got that many good deeds, and they've given them away as well. So very, very important. So here is a little chart to speak or not to speak. Before speaking, consider, is what I'm about to say correct? Yes. Is it beneficial to others? In the case of that imam, yes. Will it be taken well? Yes, it was. Is there a need to tell this to others? Yes. Do I have a good intention? Yes. Will it spread goodness? Yes. So now I can say it. Okay, so that is your chart. And then if we look at the no, is what I'm about to say correct? No, refrain from saying it. Okay? Is it beneficial to others? No, refrain from saying it. Will it be taken well? No, then refrain from saying it, basically. Okay? If anybody wants any of these slides, please, please get in touch with me. I can WhatsApp them to you because all my PowerPoints are on my mobile phone, ready to send out, just like that. As soon as people ask me, within 24 hours they get whatever they ask for. I help people as much as I can.
Can I just ask something?
Yes.
Please. So this is where so there's a, let's say it's a big crime, sexual offence. Take it right to the top. So I know that this man has committed a sexual offence against a woman.
Is it an imam?
No, it's no. This is
because if it's an imam, I can tell you the answer straight away.
No.
Yes.
No, it's, let's say my neighbour is sexually abusing another neighbour's daughter.
Right.
Yeah? It's a big crime.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Now, I know it's correct because I've spoken to the little girl.
Yes.
Is it beneficial to others to tell them? Yes, it's going to be because it might stop him. Will it be well taken? It definitely won't be.
But again,
But there is a need to tell, so I'm kind of stuck on that will it be well taken, because no, it won't be.
yeah, I think you have
But
to
I
use
need-
your own mind and also let the police deal with it.
Yeah,
I
but for
think it
me
would
to
be up
tell,
to
this is for
police.
me to tell the police to speak or not to speak. Do I tell, following that, I actually shouldn't even be telling the police, because will it be well taken? No, it won't.
According to the law of this country, then you
Yeah.
should tell the police.
Yeah.
So yes, I would tell the police.
Is this more of a social setting? So if you're sitting around, you wouldn't be
Yeah.
This is a
giving
social
that. You would
setting.
be giving that
This is a
information
social
to like a
setting.
sister's circle, but obviously
Yeah.
to the police, then
Yeah.
you know.
Because
it's-
that's
This is a
where,
social setting.
that's where we've had people
But-
in the past saying,
No, you have to tell the police.
Yeah.
According to the law of this land, I will talk about this later because I'm actually going to be talking about capital punishment and rape.
Yeah.
What you have to do in the Muslim community if that happens.
but Muslims have said, oh no, I don't tell because
No,
I'm
you
not-
have to tell.
that's,
You have to tell the police.
Because they're covered by that covering the sins of another Muslim, but there's a difference between covering the sins of another Muslim
Yeah.
and abiding by the law.
And stopping it will cause
Yeah.
more harm, you see. So you have to stop it in that case.
My own opinion about sexual offences, the conviction rate is so low around through the legal system, but I think for some men it actually encourages them because the conviction rate is so low. So that's just something I would say that.
Yeah. Now, all this topic I will be covered fully when I do capital punishment in our misconceptions, myths busting session. So that is when I will go into it in more detail. Okay? Right. So the next one. But Shaitan tempted them with the tree to disobey Allah's commandment and cause them to be expelled from paradise. So again, try and take you down the wrong way, get you down upon the earth, all of you together from paradise. Some of you are an enemy to some others. This is all to do with being enemy to others. And if there comes to guidance from me, whoever follows my guidance shall neither go astray nor fall into distress and misery. So this is all about being enemy to others and hating them and being jealous and more arrogant than them. This is all together, okay, linked together. Again, bearing grudges. Shaitan bears a big grudge against Allah, doesn't he? You put me down on earth and now I'm going to corrupt everybody. So did you know grudges also within the psychological system comes with jealousy and with arrogance as well. Okay, bearing grudges is another one. It's to do with Shaitan. Who knows how many days you're allowed to bear a grudge with somebody and after that you have to be fine?
3 days?
3 days. It's a well-known fact. 3 days is the only time, maximum days, when you can bear a grudge with somebody, and then after that, you've got to get back to normal. Otherwise, you won't enter paradise. Resolving differences with people. Abu Hurairah said, Prophet Muhammad said, the gates of paradise will be opened on Mondays and Thursdays, and every servant of Allah who associates nothing with Allah will be forgiven except for the man who has a grudge against his brother. Again, sisters do this a lot. It will be said, delay these two until they are reconciled. Delay these two until they are reconciled. That's in Muslim Malik and in Dawah. So you're not allowed to bear grudges, not more than 3 days, forget it. Why are you going on and on and on about the same thing that happened years and years ago? Get a grip on yourself and move on in your life, for God's sake. You know, that's what I tell sisters. It's not worth it, is it? If that person dies, you'll be guilty all your life. I know so many families where sisters, for example, have got grudges against each other and then the sister dies. And then the other one suffers from mental health because she's never forgave the other sister. Also, the sister who you're bearing a grudge against might be better than you are. Then you're even in more trouble, aren't you? Because Allah likes the other sister better, and He's given us so much and all this kind of stuff. So again, bad traits to have if you are going to do dawah. Okay? Forgiveness is very, very important in Islam. Prophet Muhammad said, if anyone continually asks forgiveness, Allah will appoint for him a way out of every distress, relief from anxiety, will provide for him from where he never realized. Forgiveness is also saying sorry, did you know? If you've done something bad, say sorry. You're not being really arrogant if you're not going to even bother even saying sorry, even though the other person was right. It's just a word, isn't it? It's the same thing as asking someone to forgive you, is to say sorry as well. So again, all of these arrogant type qualities, if they've got that, they won't, even bother even saying sorry. With all those qualities, we didn't do anger. If you're jealous, if you're arrogant, all of that, you will get angry. Okay? And whoever safeguards that which is between his two jaws, Allah will guarantee him paradise, basically. There are so many hadiths about anger. Anger is, again, from shaitan. This hadith is from Bukhari, again. And you have to be very, very careful. When you are doing dawah, certain people will make you angry. Some of the Christian-Muslim debates that I've been going to, how bad were they? They used to come out with putting Prophet Muhammad ﷺ down. Even when you go for children, they come out with all sorts as well. This is what anger did, actually. The first person who got so angry ended up lashing out. Who was it in the Quran? The first person who got so angry actually killed somebody. Yes?
Adam's twin sons.
Yes.
One of them.
Yes. Habil and Qabil. Okay? So Qabil got really jealous of his brother. Didn't he get jealous of him? Because of the wife? All of that is Adam's story. He got jealous of his brother because his brother was going to get the more prettier wife. And on top of that, Allah liked the other brother better. Habil, he actually accepted his sacrifice of the animal. So he got really angry. This is what I mean, it's all entwined. Jealousy, anger, it's all part of one. So he was jealous of his brother, and then he got angry, and then he physically fought him, and then he killed him. And that was the first murder on earth, and that is sadaqah jariyah for different kind, because when you do really bad things like that, whatever the future generations do, you will get that deed on your shoulders as well. We always talk about good sadaqah jariyah, don't we? You do something good and your deeds are multiplied. But nobody looks at the bad things. If you do something bad and someone copies you, then that sin's on your shoulder, because you've taught them that. Yes? So basically, so the self-based desires of the other encouraged him and made fair seeming to him the murder of his brother. He murdered him and became one of the losers. He's actually described as a loser in the Quran, chapter 5, verse 30. So if somebody makes you angry, the best way is to be like the Prophet, act like him. There has been many occasions, for example, I went into school and one of the children came out with, "Do you have a television?" And you know what? That really upset me. I thought, what does she think? I'm an animal or something? But I had to stay calm. So I said, "Yes, actually I do. I have a 70-inch television at home." "What many inches is your television?" Because I just don't understand where they get these ideas from. So that's an example of a child. The other one was the CMD, Christian-Muslim debate, big Dr. Zakir Naik debates that I've been going to in the churches, in the church in Lee Street. And somebody attacked the Prophet. And it was really bad, really, really bad. It actually really upset my mum because she was there. But I stayed calm. I don't know if Nasser remembers the joke I cracked, and everybody was on the floor crying with laughter. Do you remember what I said? I said, "You're deaf, dumb and blind." Didn't I? Do you remember? You're deaf, dumb and blind, because that's what's in the Quran, isn't it? Allah's closed your heart. And you know what? The Muslims and the non-Muslims, they were actually crying with laughter. 5 minutes of just hysterical laughter. So instead of me getting angry, I cracked a joke out of it, but that joke was so effective, it hit them right in there. And then I walked off the stage calmly, laughing with all of the sisters. So these are all tactics you have to learn, and it all comes with experience, okay? But don't get angry. That's what they want you to do. So they can say, "See, Muslims are terrorists." That's what they want you to do, is to get angry and start lashing out and all the rest. So you will get this a lot. There will be non-Muslims who will come out with all sorts and attack your religion. Or there was another one, this one really got me angry. Someone said to me that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was actually influenced by the shaitan, wasn't he? He was possessed by the devil. And that made me angry as well. So then I just came out with, no, he wasn't, because how would you have known the Quran off by heart like that? And, you know, he was illiterate, and I just had all my sentences to shut him up. But if that was a lay person, he would have got angry and said, how dare you talk about the Prophet like that? Don't forget, that Prophet is putting down, it's not his Prophet, is it? They're not even believing him. Do you see? But they wouldn't dare say that about Jesus, because they believe in Jesus and respect Jesus. So that's very important as well. So basically, all of these things, don't lie, don't spy, don't exalt, don't insult. That's all rhyming again. These are all in the Quran. Good manners straight from the Noble Quran. Okay? And did you know that even nowadays psychology, JAAGS, is actually all psychology. With jealousy comes arrogance and anger and grudges and stubbornness. Ego, arrogance, pride, greed, jealousy and stubbornness kills the inner soul of a humble, faithful, God-fearing human being by destroying the quality of shyness, self-respect, modesty and bashfulness. That's, I think, what Brother Shahab was saying earlier. Narrated by Abu Masood al-Badri, that the Prophet ﷺ said, if you don't have haya, you don't have the quality of modesty, then you can do whatever you wish, because there's nothing to stop you doing shameful things. So those 5 are linked even within psychology as well. Like I said, the litmus test of not being arrogant is when you talk to everybody, doctor or no doctor, black or white, feed the homeless, sweep floors, do everything. And this is a dua to relieve worry, depression and difficulty. I don't know if you want to read that out for us, the dua.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa tawakkal ala Allahi wa kafa billahi wakilan.
Okay, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا. Okay, so put your trust in Allah, and sufficient is Allah as a trusted disposer of affairs. This is a dua to relieve worry, depression and difficulty. The other biggest thing is being a hypocrite. Okay, the definition of a hypocrite is this. So basically, a mu'min is someone who is holy, his heart's pure, his actions shows he's pure. Okay? This one is easy to distinguish. Their hearts are closed. They show it in their actions that they're bad. Okay? This one is very dangerous, because from the outside they're all sweet talkers, all wonderful, and inside their hearts are black. Okay? A lot of non-Muslims that you will come across will be like this. They will be all lovely and wonderful to you, but deep inside, you know, they're not going to change your religion, are they? So, again, basically, this is not really about the non-Muslims, this is about you. If you are going to go out and do dawah, people will be able to see straight through you, believe me, if you are like this. Because you might go there with your hijab off, just to mingle in with everyone. Okay, things like that. So many people said to me, when I went to visit the Queen, why do you need to wear a hijab? This is, you're British, why don't you wear a hat? Or why don't you do Nadia Hussain job and wear a turban? Do you know the amount of people that said that to me, my own friends? I said, no, I'm not going to go as anybody else but me. I got chosen for this award because of who I am. So why would I want to change myself for other people? No matter where I go, whether I'm preaching to Muslims, whether I'm preaching to non-Muslims, I am the same with everyone.
MashaAllah, well done.
So I don't want to change myself. Otherwise I'd be this, wouldn't I? Okay? So there are a lot of people. Another one I think this one's actually quite an interesting one, is where everyone's wonderful. Everyone is wonderful. Even you go to an event and it's really rubbish crap event and they go, oh, it was wonderful. Well, you're not speaking your mind then. How can everything be wonderful? There must be some things that are not good. That is actually another sign, did you know, where everything is all wonderful and brilliant, and this is good, and this is good, and this is good, and this is good. It can't all be good. Speak your mind. If something is bad, speak it, okay? Otherwise, you're sugarcoating that black heart, sugarcoating it, and everything's all wonderful. There are ways that you can tell, but these are the signs of a hypocrite, mentioned in the hadiths. Whenever he speaks, he lies, okay? Some people lie so much that even they don't know what's the truth and what's the lie. Do you know that? You ask them the same question again and it's a different answer. Okay? I have actually come across brothers who do this as well. They lie so much it makes me sick, honestly. If someone trusts, is dishonest, okay? Whenever he promises, he breaks a promise. This is the litmus test of knowing if someone is a hypocrite. And it is sad, but a lot of imams will say, yes, I'll do that, don't worry. I've come across that so many times. I'll ask an imam to do a job for me because I'm trying to get them involved with a brother. Oh, inshallah, don't you worry, I'm going there now. And then a couple of days later, you ring the brother or the sister, and they go, nobody came around here. Well, why did you say inshallah? Then why did you bother texting me and say, sorry, I couldn't go get someone else involved? So many lies. That imam is another classical example of this, don't you think? Everything, oh, inshallah, all sweet talk, and inside the heart's black. So, you know, beware. And don't be like this if you're going to do dawah, because people will see straight through you immediately. Truly in the heart there is a void that cannot be removed except with the company of Allah, and in it there is a sadness that cannot be removed except with the happiness of knowing Allah and being true to Him, and in it there is an emptiness that cannot be filled except with love for Him, and by turning to Him and always remembering Him. And if a person were given all of the world and what is in it, it would not fill this emptiness. Now that emptiness, by the way, is mental health and depression. So if you don't come towards Allah, all these qualities do end up then giving you anxiety and depression at the end. That's the way it is in Islam. Okay? Right, now we're going to look at behavior. We've looked at our characteristics inside us, which we are going to correct. Inshallah, we're going to be humble, we're not going to get angry. Yeah, we're not going to be hypocrites. We're going to be kind, we're going to share our knowledge. What about our behavior? What was the biggest behavior that I saw today here? Pardon?
Lying.
Here, it happened here today.
Not coming in on time and
Yeah, lateness. Some people didn't turn up, some people cancelled last minute. Okay? Is that a good trait to have? Our religion is all about being on time, right down to a T. Look at all our 5 times prayers. Adhan, better go and pray. Everything is there on time. Okay? Who invented clocks? Muslims. How can you then be late? Muslims invented clocks. Al-Jazari invented clocks. Ibn Yunus al-Masri discovered the pendulum in the 10th century. First to study and document its oscillatory motion, its use in clocks was introduced by Muslim physicists during the 15th century. A 13th century engineer and inventor created the fabled elephant clock and invented groundbreaking machines changing the way behind this technology today. Why did he invent clocks? For prayer times, didn't he? So that everybody can go and they can pray on time. Our whole life is based around a clock, okay? In the Quran, there is even a surah named after time. You can tell me that surah in the Quran. On time. It tells you that by time verily man is in loss. Okay? You're wasting other people's time. Those of you who were late today, you wasted 20 minutes of my time and your time now, because we're going to finish late. Okay? And then I'm going to hear all moans from the sisters. Oh, you finished late. Yes, I finished late because you were late, love. Okay? And I will tell you that. Also, our whole life is on a clock, second by second. Closer and closer to mankind comes their reckoning, yet they heed not and they turn away. That's in Surah Al-Anbiya, the prophets. The other one nobody's going to like, but I've got to tell you all, that did you know that the etiquette of punctuality, being late, is a form of stealing. When you make others wait for you, you rob minutes from them that they will never get back. Time you never get back again once it's gone. Okay? Being late is arrogant. Again, it's arrogant and shows an overestimation of one's worth. Being on time shows your respect for others. Did you know when it's an Islamic lecture, it's even more important to be on time because it's all about Allah. Also, you're losing out on good deeds. If you come early, you can help out. Do you know the amount of times I've said this to sisters, come early, get some good brownie points on your right shoulder. Do you know this takes over an hour to set up? The electrics, the chairs, the food, the tables, the speaker system, everything. It takes a lot of time and effort. Minimum I get here 1 hour before the actual lecture starts. And I have my whole family with me to help me. And do you know there's only 2 brothers normally who get here early to help. And that's it. Again, the brothers. To me, it looks like I'm inspiring the brothers more than I am the sisters nowadays. Do you know that? I'm honestly feeling that, which is really weird and scary. That is the way it is. The sisters are asleep. They're in a bubble. They're in a world of their own. Seriously. They're too busy out there shopping and doing all the other satanic things out there. I've got more. Being late is breaking a promise. Being on time shows others that you're a man of your word. Allah called upon the believers, O you who believe, fulfill your promises. Allah also praised Prophet Ismail. He was true to his promise. He was a messenger and a prophet. Keeping appointments is vital to our lives. Time is the most precious commodity. Once wasted, it can never be recovered. If your punctuality is poor, you'll lose people's respect and trust. And keep the promise. A promise is a responsibility. This is all Quranic ayahs. I'm not making any of it up. And you know, it does lose trust, because if you're going to get somebody to help you, and you know they're going to be late, you won't get them, will you? Okay? People have said to me before, why don't you get so-and-so sister, she'll help you on so-and-so day. And I think, no, actually, no, she's always late everywhere, I'm not going to get her. Okay? So it's very, very important, and there are horror stories, I can tell you, about imams walking in late when they're about to give a talk. It's embarrassing waiting. It really is. Embarrassing waiting, because with English time, it's dead on time. At this time is this person's talk, at this time is this person's talk. In fact, there was a lecture that I did on marriage, and it was at the university I work in. The whole of the Islamic society walked in an hour late. What happened then was, I did my talk first, and then they walked in after my talk. And you know what? Then they wanted me to repeat it. And the Reverend said to them, no, sorry, it's my turn next, and you missed your chance, you'd have got here on time. How embarrassing is that when a non-Muslim has to tell Muslims? I can tell you another horror story. The vicar phoned me up. He goes, Sidra, there's something I wanted to ask you, and it's really playing on my mind. And I said, what's that then? And he goes, I was invited to a Muslim wedding yesterday, my next door neighbour's Muslim wedding, and I just wanted to know, is the nikah ceremony important in your religion? And I said, of course it is. That's what makes the marriage, the nikah ceremony. He goes, oh, that's interesting, he said, because in yesterday's wedding, when I went, I was the only one at the nikah ceremony, and then when it was dinner time, all of a sudden the hall was full, and he goes, is the dinner more important in your religion than the nikah? Do you know, that day I wanted to die. I wanted to dig myself a grave and go in it. Because here I am portraying a good image of Muslims, and then look at what he came out with. And he was right in what he said. And what am I going to say to that now?
Because no one would dream of being late to a normal wedding.
They wouldn't. I've been to an English wedding and it's dead on time. In fact, people are there early.
Yeah.
People are there waiting.
The congregation are there early, whether it's a registry office or it's a church.
Yeah.
They're always there before the bride. You know.
Exactly.
Because it's considered so rude.
So rude. Yeah. Now, where has all this culture come from, being late everywhere with Asians? Does anybody know? They just go, I'm feeding with the things that she comes out with. Where has all this culture come from being late everywhere? Anybody? Think of back home, it's hot. And it's all hairy-fairy attitude, take it easy attitude. And the prayer times are the actual guidelines of the day. So everybody knows Asr is at this time, and then, you know, there's a big, longer leeway up to Asr time or up to Maghrib time. It's a different kind of culture back home. It's take it easy, it's hot as well. But when you come to this country, again, you're living in England, you've got to adapt. If you're going to give dawah somewhere, you've got to get there early. Even if I have to go into school and IT's all set up, I get there 1 hour early, always. Because you don't know, there might be a hiccup when you put your USB stick in, okay? So it's very, very important that you are there on time. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. And better late than never, okay? Again, I can tell you a story here. There was an imam, and it was a huge conference, a huge multi-faith conference with 10 religions all sitting on a table, ready to start. Guess which one was missing? Islam, okay? There was no speaker for Islam. This is right at the very beginning when I first started doing dawah. And there was no imam. So I went up to the organizer and I said, where's the Muslim speaker? They said, oh, we don't know. They didn't contact us. He was from the local mosque. This was in Luton. It's from the local mosque, but he didn't contact us on why he's not coming. Well, why on earth didn't that imam say, sorry, I can't come, get somebody else? He just didn't turn up. So I, from the audience, stood up and gave my point of view. That was my first dawah session from the audience, because I couldn't bear the thought of it. That how comes my own religion is not represented? There was Zoroastrianism there was all these other Chinese religions, all sorts, all there, paganism, but no Islam. How embarrassing is that? So be organised. If you're going to do dawah, get a diary, write in there the date and the time, by also the time you need to get there by, which is 1 hour early, and keep in time with the traffic. Keep that in your mind. There might be traffic jam on the way, then what are you going to do? Write the phone number in your diary as well, because nothing is worse than walking in late. And leave plenty of time in case your USB doesn't work, have a plan B. All my PowerPoints are on Dropbox, so if I go somewhere and my USB doesn't work, because sometimes they have security on their systems, I can go into the internet and get it from Dropbox. You have to have plan B as well. I take my laptop everywhere I go, in case, just in case, okay? Show professionalism. Being late does not show professionalism, okay? The only time I've cancelled a lecture in my entire life is when my mother-in-law passed away and it's her funeral on that day. Apart from that, it's snowing out there, my car's broken down, I don't care, I'd still be here. If I had a broken leg like my husband, believe me, I would still be sitting here. I would sit down and I'd do the lecture, but I would not cancel it. Because I'm not like that. This is how you build the audience's trust, okay? Right, what's the other biggest weakness with our people? I mentioned it a little bit with the vicar story.
Excuse.
The vicar story, when did people get there?
Food time.
Food time. When there's a lecture with food, what happens? The audience doubles. They'll just come at eating time. Really, really bad. This is all, again, going to back home in poverty regions where you see food and you run for it. In some of the areas back home. This is where all these attitudes come from. And then it goes down the generations in. You look at food, you get excited and you run for it. But we also know that even Adam, when he was made, he saw food and he ran. Man is created of haste. Soon I'll show you my signs, therefore you need not be impatient. So being impatient is bad as well. And food should not be your priority wherever you go. And you do not walk in at dinner time. That is really, really bad. It puts you in a really, really bad light. And queue up, please, for your food. I'm looking at Nick here again. Nick's like manning there as a police officer in some of the events. Because the Muslims are all just running forward for the food. Now, non-Muslims should go first. They are your guests. We had an iftar here for non-Muslims. And the non-Muslims, they were at the back, and the Muslims had run forward. And then I had to go forward as a woman amongst all them and say, hang on a minute, can we let the non-Muslims eat first? Yet we went to an iftar at the synagogue, and what was it there? They didn't even eat. They said, come and eat. And they were standing up and not even eating. They ate right at the end, even if, I don't think half of them even ate. So this is bad manners. Non-Muslims eat first. If there is a cricket match, there was a sister last year, she goes, why do the non-Muslims have to eat first? Both cricket matches, she said it right from them. Why do they need to eat first? Why? Because they are our guests. If a guest comes to your house, do you eat before them or do you feed them first? It's the same phenomenon. A non-Muslim is your guest, they eat first. Yes?
I raised the topic about guests being not given preference at our at our Ramadan event, and he said they weren't fasting. Our people were fasting.
No.
That was his answer.
No, because you can open your fast with a date and then wait, basically. Prophet Muhammad ate 3 dates and then he went to pray first, didn't he? Half of our lot don't even go and pray. I saw this at the university, at the iftars. Just the iftar gone, bunch of Muslim students from the university, all queuing up, straight after the Adhan had gone. And I said to them, hang on a minute, aren't you praying? And I said it to them, I said, are you going to fulfill the 4th pillar of Islam without fulfilling the 2nd? And they were well embarrassed. And they went in to pray. Half of our lot don't even pray. Do you know that? Then what's the point of fasting? No point at all, is there? So, ignore the food. This is not back home where there's lack of it. There's plenty of food here in this country. And believe it or not, the non-Muslims, with the time and the food, they know about it. They actually snigger about it. Do you know that? They know about the time as well. They do know about the time, that we're always late everywhere. Because I hear them sniggering about it in meetings and things. And it's embarrassing. When you go to do Dawah, you need to dress well and do not be a hypocrite. Okay? If you're going to go there, you must wear a hijab, because the question of hijab is going to come up. It will, 100%. If you're a female and you're doing Dawah, that would 100% come up about hijab. So you need to portray that. Okay? Dress properly. There was a mosque open day, and they were short of women there to give Dawah. Obviously I was one of them. And I don't know where they picked this girl up from. Astaghfirullah. Oh my God. I just don't know where they picked this girl up from, who was there. She was wearing the hijab, tight clothes, full makeup, false eyelashes, bright red lipstick. And then the woman who I was talking to about hijab said, so can you tell me something? I'm really confused. You know that girl over there? She's wearing the hijab, but then why is she wearing all that makeup then? There's another classic example where I wanted to die. What am I supposed to say now? Because she's a Muslim. So be careful. If you are going to talk about the religion, you need to act the religion. And you need to dress professional. So if you're a girl, Yes, you can still be summit, wear a dress, but wear a blazer on top. If you're a brother, wear a blazer on top, look professional, wear a tie. Because other people take you more seriously when you look professional. You don't have to be educated, but look professional. Again, I'll give you a horror story, another one. So I've been doing this a long time. This was Colchester, it was a big event. The imam was late. Again, an imam, he was late. I'm not joking, it looked like he had crawled out of bed. He was wearing a screwed up white shwa kameez with a haldi stain on it as well. And he was wearing flip-flops. Seriously, it looked like he'd got out of bed. And screwed up white shwa kameez, it was Pakistani style. And I remember seeing that and just thinking, do you know what, I can do better than that. And that's why I'm here today. Dress well. Even the Prophet Muhammad dressed well. He wasn't that bad, was he? I know he was humble. You can still be humble, but dress well. So that is very, very important. And don't be like the non-believers. You are an ambassador for your own faith, for your own religion. Act it. I have done everything, got to the stage I've got to by being a practicing Muslim and dressing the way I am. I've never given up anything. I've never said, oh, I've got to wear jeans there because that's not the kind of place where I can go wearing a dress. And everybody has taken me like that and accepted me like that. Because it's the personality that shines through, isn't it? What's inside you. We do not custom make Islam to serve us, we change ourselves to fit in Islam. Okay? Now the other one, which I think is very, very important because I've seen this, you are an ambassador for your religion. If you are going to go and do Dawah, don't shake hands with anybody because that question will come up. It will come up, it always comes up. This is brothers as well as sisters. Brothers think it's okay for them to shake hands with women, and it's only ladies. It's brothers and sisters. Don't do it if you're going to go and do Dawah, okay? You keep your hands by your side. If they put their hand out forward, then you put your hand forward. Otherwise you don't. That's the only way to do it. If it's a professional setting like Buckingham Palace, I've given this example before, obviously you've got to shake Prince Charles' hand. It's different. If it's an interview situation, again it may be different. If you're getting your graduation certificate, it's different. But in Dawah circumstances or in mosques, no. Big no. Because you are an ambassador for your religion. So you don't need to put your hand forward. And if they put their hand forward, then you can do it, but you can still, because the question is going to come up. They'll say, well, hang on a minute. In your religion, you're not allowed to shake hands with the opposite gender, but you just shook mine. It does come up. I've seen imams do it, and it is not good at all. You are practicing your religion at all times. The other one is giving a peck on the cheek. Are you allowed to do that as a Muslim? With a woman, whether she's non-Muslim or not? No. Okay? So you have to be very, very careful. If you are in that position of giving Dawah, people see you like a reverend or they see you as a nun, believe it or not, when you give Dawah. So you have to be very careful with your actions. So a peck on the cheek is no, no, no. It's even worse than shaking hands. You don't have to do it, do you? You can just say, hello, how are you? You know, you can still be polite. Yes.
I don't understand, Sister Sidra.
The kiss on the cheek.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Men do it to ladies more.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a kiss on the cheek. Not allowed at all, is it? That's worse than shaking hands.
Yeah.
Okay? That is very, very important. In fact, very high dignitaries have tried to kiss me before, and I just tell them straight. I do. That Gateway Radio man came to the homeless and in front of you tried to give me a kiss, and I just put my hands up and I said, no kisses, please. You just tell them once and they understand. Or explain it to them. I'm like a nun, would you kiss a nun? Okay? I'm like a reverend, would you kiss a reverend? Do reverends kiss nuns? No. Okay?
So can
Yes.
you say about the shaking hands?
Yes.
I work
In a professional circumstance, it's different.
Yeah, because I used to, when they used to come, chief executive or have authority, whatever, for a meeting or anything like that. I have shaken hands.
That's different. That's
But-
professional.
But inside me, I was not happy about it, and I
Yes.
then used to tell my husband. So what I have done, what I do now, if anybody shakes hands, I will say, sorry, I don't shake hands, nothing personal.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah.
Yes. Now let me tell you something. When you go to do dawah, they already know. They know already. They do. So many non-Muslims know nowadays. I'm talking about dawah circumstances only. When I go to professional places, yes, if they put what I do is, this is the best way, put your hand behind your side. This is brothers and sisters. You don't need to put your hand forward. If they put their hand forward, then you can do it quickly. Just to be polite in professional circumstances. Wherever I go, I'm wearing a hijab. So many men don't themselves. They don't, because they know, believe it or not, they do know nowadays. The question always comes up every time about shaking hands. So just be careful, okay? Right, the other thing is you are not allowed to be extreme when it comes to your religion when you are doing dawah. You have to follow the middle way, okay? Another example is I took that same imam with me at the beginning to answer questions. Well, I used to do the talk and then I'd leave him to ask the questions, and he was British born, thinking that would be fine. And somebody said to him, there were children, they said, if we're not Muslim, then what? And he goes, you will all go to hellfire. To the whole school, 350 children. Oh my God. Afterwards, that was when I ditched him. I thought, you know what, I'm going solo. And I did. And I carried on going solo. If you take somebody with you, just make sure their way of thinking is the same as yours. Be very, very careful. Test them out first. Someone said to me here, why don't you make a dawah team? I said, no, they have to come and shadow me first, and I have to watch them. Because how do you know what they're going to do? I've had full experience of this. You think someone's brilliant, and then you see them in action, and they answer all the questions in a completely wrong way. So be careful, follow the middle way. You cannot be extreme if you're going to do dawah. You cannot segregate audiences when you go and do dawah either. You can't have, oh, let's put a division in the middle and have sisters here and brothers there. This is a non-Islamic environment. It's this country you're doing dawah in. This is different, this is a masjid, okay? So Prophet Muhammad pronounced a firm warning, never be extreme regarding religion. Many nations have been destroyed before you only because of extremism in religion. Okay, and the Quran says, keep to the right course as you've been commanded, and also those who turn with you to God and do not exceed the bounds. He sees what you do. And there is your middle path. Take the middle path the way the Prophet was. Okay? Extremism comes from not integrating. If you are within your own community and nobody else, and you don't see anything else, you only know about your own religion and you don't tolerate anything else. That's where extremism comes from. If you go back to our home countries, there's no integration, there's only one faith and one kind of person. I know sisters from Chechnya, they've never been out of their village. They have never been out of their village to even see somebody who's non-Chechen. So you tell me, when they come to this country, are they going to be tolerant of other faiths or understand other colours and cultures? This is where you get a big problem with the older generation. They come to Britain and they don't integrate at all. They don't. Because they don't feel confident to. And nowadays there are so many people of their own kind here in this country where they don't feel the need to go out of their comfort zone. Why do they need to go out of their comfort zone when they've got enough of their own people? But if you're going to live in England, you have to integrate and you have to understand people will have their own opinions, their own religions, which you have to tolerate and be respectful about. And if you look at your own religion, it tells you to mix with everyone. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. You may know one another, not segregate yourself from one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted. Chapter 49, verse 30. Now this also means talking to them. It doesn't mean, when we get a school visit here, some of the committee members, this is in the olden days, they don't mix with them. They don't even say hello. And they're in the corner speaking their own language. And that is very, very wrong. If you've called guests to the mosque, they are like guests coming into your house. No matter what colour, what language they are, you need to talk to them, mix with them. Why are you in the corner speaking Punjabi again? This is here in this mosque, and it really annoys me. Yes?
Can I say something? My experience, I find in communities that are not integrated, there's an increased risk of bid'ah in the religion and following culture rather than religion. And also my experience, if you find a mosque that is mixed as far as ethnicity, you know, black, Asian, whatever, there's an increased chance of Dawah and setting a good example, and they're following the correct religion.
Yeah, 100%. If you look at London and places like Bradford, or even within the Jewish community, Stamford Hill, they only mix with their own and nobody else, and they're more extreme, and the culture's kicked in, and they don't know their religion from culture. If you mix with lots of different people, it makes you understand your faith more better. You think about it, because you get questions. Others, your parrot fashion, following your own faith. Everybody knows my story. When I lived in London, I didn't know my faith. I was parrot fashion, following it like everybody else, because everybody was like me. Came to Brentwood, full of non-Muslims. I suddenly started thinking about my faith. And then 9/11 happened, and then people started asking me questions, and I didn't know the answers, because I was parrot fashion, following my faith, like everybody else was. Then I had to look into the religion to find the answers. Whereas I think if I grew up in Brentwood, it might have been different. I would have been aware right from the beginning. So very important to integrate. If you look at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had wives from different countries, did he not? He had a Yemenese wife, and he had a Christian, Coptic Christian wife, Maria, different countries to build the relationships with all these countries. Okay, and he was not white, British English, was he, either? There is actually racism within Islam as well, do you know that? There was a play I did, Eid Around the World, and I wanted to make a Iraqi girl dress up and represent Saudi Arabia. And the mum comes in and she goes to me, my daughter's fair and Saudi Arabians are black, so I don't want her to be Saudi Arabian because Iraqis are fair. And I looked at her and I said, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was from Saudi Arabia. She went black. Basically, honestly, her face just went black. She goes, oh yeah, sorry sister, and then she walked away. You have to be smart. You've got to have your answers there just like that. You have to be smart. Chalak. You have to be chalak. I'm telling you, if you're not chalak and you do Dawah, you're finished. Because you will come across so many kinds of people.
Can we
Yes.
translate Chalak for
Chalak is smart. I said smart already.
people? Oh, did you?
Smart. I said smart.
Sorry.
It's smart, isn't it?
What language is it?
Yeah, I said smart first, then I said Chalak for the Pakistanis.
Okay.
Right, let's carry on. You lot are making me laugh again. Right, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. This is his last sermon, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, last sermon on the mountain. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, white has no superiority over black, nor a black has any superiority over the white, except by piety and good action. And that was his last words before he passed away, which shows the importance of integrating. Okay? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself showed us many examples. He chose an African slave to give the call to prayer, Bilal. He could have chosen a Saudi Arabian if he wanted to, could he not have? Okay? The most darkest and the most humblest out of the lot. He married people from different countries, like I said, as well. And he did Dawah. He sent letters to Abyssinia, didn't he? Did he not? This is something else, I get this a lot. Muslims say to me, oh, we don't mix with them, they're Ghaffars. Okay, So the king from Abyssinia, Ethiopia, he was a kafir, but Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he wrote to him and he became Muslim. If you don't talk to kafirs, how are they ever going to become Muslim? All those reverts that brother mentioned earlier, the pagan, the Buddhist, the Christian, the police officer, the BNP supporter, they were all kafirs. Were they not before I started talking to them? How are you going to change their minds if you're not mixed with them? So you have to be very open-minded. God created our skin tones with beautiful variety, but all of our souls are the same colour. Okay? So this was mainly about colour, but also interfaith is very, very important. In this country, there are many, many faiths, and many, many different, all the prophets were basically all one faith anyway. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at the top there, Jesus was from Christianity, Moses is from Judaism, but we actually really respect all of them, don't we? And the religion is still one. It's just the minor differences that you can iron out when you do Dawah. Okay? So, right going down to Adam, which is our father, everything has always been the worship of the one true God. Tawheed has been the key to all the religions. So we need to keep that in our mind when we start to say we can't mix with them and they're Christian and they're Jew and all the rest. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, preached that everyone is equal no matter what race, gender, wealth, social status. And like I mentioned already, Bilal is who he chose to do the adhan. And the other one, which I get a lot, is, oh, she must get money for what she does. If you want to do Dawah, do it for Allah. You don't need to earn money out of it. You don't need to, if you are all right money-wise, okay? I don't even claim for petrol. And I always have petrol in my car. For Dawah purposes, Allah doubles the petrol in my car. People are often shocked at the amount of support I get. I get so much. People give me Qurans, people give me literature all the time. People give me prayer mats, and which I use then for prayer rooms and things. Allah puts the barakah in there. It's all from Allah because you're using some of the knowledge Allah's given you for His work, and He gives you barakah in so many ways. Honestly, sometimes, I can give you some examples. One of my cousins came around from Pakistan, and she goes, I really need a Quran that's in Urdu, because she'd never read the Quran in Urdu. She'd only read it parrot fashion. I only had one last Quran left in Urdu, and I had it in my mind, you know what, should I give it to her, should I not give it to her? So you know what, I thought, let me just give it to her. I gave it to her. The next day, a parcel came around my house, and you know what, it was a big box of Qurans, and I still don't know till this day where that box of Qurans came from. I have not got any idea. Use your own money for stuff. I actually use my own money. Look at all this, some of this stuff out of my own pocket. Allah's given you, it's all His money anyway. If you want to do Dawah properly, do not ask for money, because then you're doing it for worldly things, not for Allah, and the barakah will not be there. Okay? Voluntary work means voluntary work. No money involved. Where this money business comes from is back home in our countries. Nobody does voluntary work because they're too busy trying to earn a living. And they don't have anything that doesn't involve money, they don't do, because they're just earning money to keep themselves alive. So voluntary work does not exist. But in our world here, we do have money, we have jobs. If you're doing voluntary work on top of that, then you don't need the money. Okay? Prophet Muhammad showed us how to do voluntary work, did you know? He did charity, social justice, he inspired people to care about health, human rights, he looked after the environment, everything. Inspired millions of lives, and he did voluntary work. Did he get paid for what he did? That's another one. This sister goes to me, oh, you're so stupid. You know, you could get £500 for each lecture that you do. And I turned around and said to her, did Prophet Muhammad get paid? and the mouth sits up straight away. You've got to have these short, snappy things up here ready to shut people up. Beat your luck. In a good way. You say that, and straight away they close their mouths, and it shames them up like anything.
Is your
Yes.
intention for the next life?
Yes. Okay, let me tell you another thing. You may not get paid in this life. Allah is counting up the deeds for the next life. If you get paid in this life, you're double lucky. Or maybe I'm only going to get paid in this life and I'm not going to get paid up there. That's what I keep thinking. I get worried sometimes. I think Allah has elevated me so much in this life. What if I get up there and the doors are shut? Then what am I going to do? So there's always this worry in your mind. Yes.
If there's a hadith which says, if 40 people witnessed of you in life, you've been good,
Yes.
then you entered paradise.
Inshallah, inshallah. And do you know what my dream would be? To go up to Jannah and do lectures like this. I would love that. I would love to stand there and do a lecture about Jannah. See, what I told you is correct.
Yes, beautiful.
Wouldn't that be wonderful, by the river? It'd be lovely. Right. Shaitan will definitely attack you the moment you start doing dawah. Okay? Because Shaitan is not going to like it. When you start praying, Shaitan comes and whispers to you. That Shaitan's whispering to you while he's praying. As soon as you make the niyyah, I'm going to do dawah, the Shaitan will appear. Okay? Sometimes it can be in the form of your own family. When I started doing dawah, my mum, no, you're not doing it. Are you mad? You're going to get shot. Because 9/11 had just happened. My dad, oh, what do you need to go into the churches for? Stop it right now. Blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. But we know, even with parents, if they stop us doing Islamic stuff, they're not allowed to stop us. Okay? So even if it is a loved one in your house or parents, no, sorry, love, I'm doing this for Allah. To you is your religion and to me is mine, isn't it? To you is your religion. If you want to go to hellfire, go ahead. I'm trying to get to Jannah. Remember, to you are your deeds and to them is theirs. You don't have to answer for them on the day of judgment, do you? You're only doing it for yourself. So be very careful. There will be people, believe me, there will be people who will come in your way and try and stop you. Right, golden advices from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Respect 3 people, parents, teachers, elderly. This is all the things that he said to be of a good character. Have 3 things in you: honesty, faith, good deeds. Free yourself from arrogance, superiority complex, cheating, debt, lying. Have control over your tongue, anger, soul. Save yourself from things, bad deeds, backbiting, jealousy, all shaitanic things. Obtain 3 things: knowledge, manners, piety. Keep 3 things pure: body, clothes, thoughts. Remember 3 things: death, favour others, helping you, and advice. Okay? Advice is a very big one. This backbiting thing that I talked about earlier, when you are in a position of trust, people will come up to you and expose their problems to you. Even non-Muslims. I have in the interfaith from had Jewish ladies telling you all their problems and inviting you to their house for tea and stuff. You have to be the same with everybody. As a chaplain, I actually help everybody. And then what they tell you is in the strictest of confidence. You are not allowed to tell anybody anything. Otherwise, if your trust goes, nobody will trust you ever again. This is so important. The other thing is that with sisters, they tell you a lot of problems, okay? If a brother tells you a problem, it's even more high priority you keep it secret. Because they've chosen to tell you and not an imam. They could very easily have gone and told an imam. But a lot of people choose you because they feel that, first of all, you won't know the family, and they can trust you for whatever reasons. And they, poor things, don't have friends like sisters do. Sisters offload to other sisters. Brothers don't really have the same mechanisms of friends to offload to. So it's even more important, if someone tells you something, you keep it completely, strictly confidential. You know, they say on the Day of Judgment that if you keep a secret in your lifetime, then on the Day of Judgment, that secret, Allah will keep your secrets. Otherwise, He'll expose them all in public. Isn't there a hadith about that? So if somebody tells you a secret, you have to keep your mouth zipped. How can you offload all the problems that come your way? How do I cope with all the problems that people tell me? Who knows? Yes, to Allah. To Allah. When you pray, you offload everybody's problems to Allah and you ask Allah, dua, to help them. That's the way that I do it, and it works. Otherwise, I'd go mental in there, wouldn't I? With the amount of problems I deal with. Seriously, it's much more than what you think. 24-hour on corner and these problems. But it really helps me, because when I help somebody, it makes me feel really, really good inside. That I've helped somebody. Okay? That is a form of dawah as well. So this is a dua for protection from bad character. Okay, so Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min munkaratil khalaq wal amali wal huwa. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from evil character, evil actions and evil desires. Okay, right, we've ended now. Is there anything else you've got on your list that I haven't covered with your bad character and stuff, or even in your communities? Lots of people are saying that I've covered everything. Yes.
You have covered a lot, but I do have some.
I'll have one at a time then.
Okay, lack
One.
of confidence that to convey what you're
Right.
doing.
I'm going to cover that in the teacher training session. Okay? Yes.
If I'm in a Dawah meeting and a lady offers a hand to shake hands with me, so am I wrong? A non-Muslim, am I wrong?
I said that already. If
Yes.
they put their hand forward, then you shake it.
Okay.
Okay? But you yourself mustn't go, hello, shake my hand, everybody. Because you're asking for it yourself. Let them put their hand forward. And you know what? If you put your hand, keep it here, they never do. It's psychology, isn't it? Very few do, to be honest with you. They don't put their hand forward themselves. Okay? But get into that habit as well. You don't need to put your hand forward, and then they won't. If you put your hand forward, obviously they're going to, aren't they? Because they copy you. Yes.
Also, for you Muslims or people who have you see potential to be Muslim, people need to be more inviting to their family, to their home.
Yeah. That is a big one. It makes me cringe the way people are with new Muslims. I'm telling you now, there are actually quite a few examples that I can give you where sisters are just about to take their shahada. And then because I'm so busy, I put them with other sisters thinking they'll help them. And you know what? They take them out shopping. Tell me, if you take somebody out shopping to designer shops, is that going to bring them to Islam or send them away? Who's in the shopping centres? Shaitan. And then take them out to cinemas. Well, and I had to have a word with the sister. She said, that'll show her that we're really open-minded and we have fun like everybody else. Well, actually, she's had fun in her life. And she is looking for Islam because she doesn't like the fun and the drugs and the drinking and the sex.
It's also saying you don't.
Oh, it makes me so angry. Pardon?
It's also showing a lack of trust or welcoming to not let them in.
Yeah, but I know sisters who've called people about to become Muslim to their houses and they're telling them all their problems. What for? They don't need to know. They're trying to find Islam. You're trying to show them that Islam is a brilliant religion. You're not going to tell them your husband beats you up black and blue, are you? Why do you need to do that? I just don't get it. Do you know the amount of sisters who are about to come to Islam and then they don't take their shahada? You really need to be careful. Very, very. It makes me very, very cross. If I deal with them, they always become Muslim because I take them to all the events that I go to. But I haven't got the manpower anymore. In Colchester, there's a sister who's about to become Muslim, and I put her in with the right crowd. They take her to all the sister circles. They take her to and they invite her to their house. She's about to take a shahada. She's asked me, can you come with me to the mosque? There's a sister here, put her in with the wrong crowd. She doesn't think she's going to take the shahada, and I'm cursing myself. Why didn't I just take over with her? You know? So, it's really important if somebody puts a sister in your hands who is about to become Muslim, It's Islam, 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 and that's all you need to worry about. Shopping, no, that's satanic. Cinemas, no, that's satanic. Any problems you've got, no. You tell her all the good things.
Yeah.
My husband helps me in the kitchen, and we are partnership, and I feel like a queen in my house. I'm not oppressed.
Isn't it like if someone's about to get married, you tell them the good side of marriage is always the good side,
Exactly.
and then the bad side, so you just kind of enhance, like you don't want to put someone off.
Yes, exactly.
So you just kind of play down or don't mention,
Exactly.
you emphasise the good parts, because there's always good parts, isn't there?
There is. So that's a good example to give, yes. Right, any more questions? Because we've got to finish this adhan time and then we've got lunch. Yes, one more last one.
It's not a question, a comment, a positive comment. I think Jazakallah khair for this beautiful initiative to the Dawah. Because I'm actually involved in Dawah, as you know.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. But I think what it's lacking now is the unity, getting together.
Yes.
It's like rather than having cliques, Pakistani,
Yes.
Taliban, this and that.
I mentioned
I think
all that,
it's
didn't I?
we need to come under one umbrella, the MCV, for instance, Muslim Council of Britain.
Yes.
And I think like the voice of women, because they are covered from male and female, but
Yes.
it's just a matter of getting together, and because the goodness is serving Allah.
Okay, we'll stop now. We go forward, then we're going to eat, and then we'll carry on with the next session.
As-salam.